Alright guys, hello and welcome back to our course on Python programming. We have stopped on syntax, so let's continue. Now, I think you understand the concept of converting. Now let's move on. So, a few more words about variable. So, a variable should start from a letter or an underscore. So you can have the variable like this, equals 46. As you can see, it works. So you can start the name of variable from underscore, but you cannot start it from the number, you cannot start it from any special symbol. Then, variables are case sensitive, so let's check it. So let's A and capital A and assign, let's say 12 and 55. Now let's check if those variables are the same. Let's compare them. And you see the answer is false, so they contain different values. So pay your attention that in the case of Python, the variables are case sensitive. No spacing should be in your variables, no quotation marks, and no keywords. You cannot use keywords as the names of your variables. But the question is, how can you tell if the name of a variable you like to use is a keyword? That's absolutely simple. We have the library with the keywords, and surprisingly it is called keyword. Now let's find out how to use that library. First of all, to use a library we should import it. Import keyword. Now we have imported our library, we have connected it to our project. Now let's use the special method keyword dot is keyword, and here we type, what? The name we should check. Let's say if try is a keyword. And yes, that's true. So try is a keyword and you cannot use it as the variable. Let's do another check. So let's try to check if, let's say, AB is a keyword. No, it's false. So you can use this name of a variable. So let's move on. Now, let's take a look at basic arithmetic operations and their priority. So, I hope you're pretty familiar with those from your school course, but let's refresh it. So, the first is powering. When you take a number to a certain power, pay your attention that in this case you can do this. You can have A in extent of B in extent of C. The question is how it's going to be calculated. Now let's find out. So 2 in extent of 3, that gives us 8. Nothing complex here, but now let's have 2 in extent of 2 in extent of 3. And now let's check the result. So it is 256. So in this case Python reads it from right to left. So it firstly calculates this and then goes to the left. So consider that in your calculations. Now, the second in the priority are the unitary operations. I put here unitary negative, but it also fair for unitary positive. The next in the priority are operations of multiplication, division, when you drop the fraction part, and taking the remainder. Now let's, so 10 multiplied by 2, that's multiplication. 10 divided by 3, that is the common division. So let's take a look at another operation related to division. Let's take 10 / 3, and that gives us only 3. So the fractional part is dropped when you use this kind of division, and of course you can take the remainder. It works like this. By the way, when you convert the value to from float to integer, it does one interesting thing. So let's do this. Let's make 3. So let's make it integer. As you can see, it is 3. How it works? It just drops the fractional part. It doesn't round, so it just drops the fractional part. Now let's move on with our operations. And one more thing, when it comes to different operations with the same priority, let's consider the example 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 2. The question is, which result we're gonna get? So let's find out, and we see 10, which means Python here, Python interpreter, goes from left to right. So it firstly does the first operation, the division, and then it does the multiplication by 2. Now let's move on, and the short version of operations. So sometimes you need to calculate something like this: a equals a plus b. So how to make it shorter? By the way, in our case, b is probably not defined, so we're getting error. By the way, please read those error messages. They are there on a purpose, so, and they are pretty straight. So b is not defined. So let's define b. So let b equal 50 equals 50. Now we can do the operation above in the short manner like this: a plus equals b, and that gives us, so as you can see, so we can use a short version of this expression. You can make it shorter like this. Of course, instead of plus, you can have minus, division, multiplication, everything. So it doesn't actually matter. Now let's move on and let's make our interaction with Python more interactive. To do that, we're gonna learn the input function. You can see it here. So here is the syntax: input, and in brackets you can provide the prompt, or you can just leave it empty, and probably you can provide the prompt in the string above. Now let's consider a simple program that actually takes your name, your age, and outputs it. Let's take a look at the program code. So here it is. You see that variable name is actually assigned with the value. By the way, pay your attention that input function returns a string type. So if you don't need string, you need integer or float, so don't forget to convert. So the variable name is assigned with what you will provide from the keyboard. Age, now pay your attention that here we use the function int, so we convert our input to the integer format, and then we use function print to print out the sentence my name is, I am years old. So guys, here I have used one very useful method. It is called format. With this method you can specify which variables should be and which variables to take and where to put them. So this syntax, like brackets with a 0 and that, actually correspond to name and age. So using those numbers I can switch the places. So with this I tell where to put the value of a variable in my text. Now let's run this program. By the way, to run a program it should be saved in the file with the extension .py. That's a default extension. Now what's your name? Let's enter Yurii. How old are you? Let's enter 101. And let's see the output. My name is Yurii. I am 101 years old. So in that program, let's get back to our code. You can switch the places, so by changing the number. By the way, guys, pay your attention that Python counts from 0. So the first is not 1, the first is 0. So in this way I can switch, and let's restart the program. Okay, let's save it. Yurii, how old are you? 100. And you can see an output. So using the format method you can easily append your variables to output of the print command. Of course, the format method is not that simple, so you can do a lot of other tricks with that method. So read the help on it. By the way, the help is not only available from the help function, you can find it in your Python folders. So it is so here is our Python folder, and these are your manuals. So if you don't know something, you can check it here. Now let's proceed and working with the quotation marks. So you can use either triple quotation marks, either double quotation marks, or you can use single quotation marks. If you use triple quotation marks, then In those triple quotation marks, you can freely use double quotation marks and single quotation marks. If you use double quotation marks, then inside the string with double quotation marks, you can freely use single quotation marks. But if you use a single quotation marks and you want to put something with a comma, then you will have a problem. So let's take a look how it looks like. All right, so let's get to our interpreter. By the way, IDLE is the IDLE stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. Now let's print and sorry. I am 50 years old. Now, what happens in this case? So, print function actually accepts the string value, and the string value must be marked with quotation marks. And here we have opening quotation mark, and here we have the closing quotation mark, and interpreter doesn't know what to do with this part. So because you have three quotation marks, Python doesn't know what to do, and as a result it provides you this. It provides you a syntax error. How you can correct that? You correct it in several ways. First, you can change your quotation marks to double quotation marks. And you can do it like this, or another option is to put a backslash between this quotation mark. It is called an escape. Now, when you do this, yep, you see it correctly. In the case of using triple quotation marks, inside you can use, let's have an example. So let's change it to like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And here you may have like this. So within triple quotation marks, you are free to use single quotation marks and double quotation marks, however you like. Now, what happens if you want to, let's say, make your input in different strings, like print how old are you? I am 48. Now, what do you do if you want the phrase I am 48 to be at the next string? You just put backslash and n before the text that should appear at the next string. So let's try it out. Yes, you see it. Yeah, that it works correctly. You can use backslash n for new line. You can use backslash t for horizontal tabulation. You can use backslash v for vertical tabulation. So, yeah. And one more thing. how do you print backslash? Yeah, because backslash in this case is a service symbol, so how do you print it? So print, if you do this, you get, guess what? You get a syntax error. But how to solve this problem? You just put another backslash before this. So well, now you have the correct output. Now I hope you understand the operations with strings. Now let's move on and let's get to the topic of branching. Branching takes place when your program should do different instructions depending on some conditions. So branching in Python is implemented through these constructions of if, elif, else. How it actually looks like: you type if, which is the keyword, then you type the first condition, then you provide the instruction. If you have more conditions and more options, you use elif, provide condition, instruction, elif, condition, instruction. So guys, pay your attention that here in Python you don't have end and begin, you don't have some special brackets indicating the instruction. So the only thing that tells Python that it is the instruction is this spacing. So spacing is the only way to tell Python that it is the block of code related to condition. So, and actually it works through all Python, so it operates with spacing. This spacing equals to 4 spacing. So you 4 times can stroke your spacebar. Now let's consider a simple example. It's just a game where a user should guess the value. So let's take a look at second listing. So here is the program. We just guess some value and the user should guess it. So our secret value is 15. It is assigned to the variable a. Then variable g is assigned with what user is provided through input command, but since input provides string, that string is converted to integer. And here we have our if-else operator. So we type if, the keyword, then we provide the condition, then we specify the instruction that should be carried out if the condition is true. Then, so in the case of correct guess, our program types brilliant. If the guess is less than our secret value, our program types no, it's higher. Else, our else means another option. Our program types no, it's lower. This block of code works when these conditions are false. Now let's start our program. So let's type 15 and the first condition is correct, so we see brilliant. Now let's start it again. Now let's 78. No, it's lower. So this is the idea of branching. So to make your program make a decision depending on the condition, so you use the if else condition. Pay your attention that this if is not compulsory, so you can omit it. Alright, so guys, thanks for your attention. I think we're gonna stop on this for today. If you have any questions, please write them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. See ya.